All right, hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Daily High. I will be your only single host, Tone Vase, today. Again, Matt. I think Matt is traveling to Asia for his next boxing fight or MMA fight or however it is that he's fighting. Um, all right, let's get some confirmation on audio and video. I can check that the video works, and it is working. But I do need some audio confirmation, and then I will start talking about the price of Bitcoin. There's there's two parts to the analysis that we do here on the channel, though I do speak more for myself than Matt. There is, we all want the number to go up. We all want the price to go up. But I also want to be right. I mean, you can call it narcissism, you can call it whatever you like, right? So, um, as much as I want the price to only go up, uh, I am happy when I'm able to call the price correctly, regardless of whether it's going up or down. And I have to say, my analysis yesterday literally played out almost to the dollar of everything I said yesterday. I didn't go back and rewatch it, but my memory is pretty damn good, especially since it was yesterday and I have not had any alcohol this week. So everything I said yesterday completely worked out. So the monthly chart, there's nothing to say. Everything that I've said this entire month applies to the monthly chart. Now, the weekly chart, on the other hand, I did want to see us to have a significantly high close, but the weekly chart, we don't really control, right? I'm going to talk about the lower level timeframes. The weekly chart continues to consolidate. We do have an MRI warning candle. We are going to need a brand new closing high next week in order to get the MRI top. And it's very, very clear that based on what is happening right now, that this MRI top, if it happens, because it may not happen, we may not get the MRI top candle. We may break the count tomorrow, next week. But I do think we will end up with an MRI top candle. And this MRI top candle will take place inside consolidation. And if it happens inside consolidation, that is a good possibility for us to start another count to the upside. I'm actually happy about that. So the weekly chart is not crazy concerning for me. We are going to talk about some concerns that are happening. So on the weekly chart, we still have this declining RSI, which is concerning. The CMF is less concerning than it was before. The CMF is actually strengthening, and I like it a lot, though it still shows divergence similar to the RSI. The MACD is probably the strongest indicator we have, but if it crosses over, we once again have divergence. So there is divergence all across the board here, which we have to keep in mind. Volume on this rally is dropping, and here is my biggest concern. My biggest concern is that we entered this blow-off all-time high on a short-term scale, but the ETFs have not been buying any Bitcoin. And the reason why this is concerning is because I fell into this trap in 2021 where Bitcoin made a new all-time high in November versus April. And the buying from GBTC was non-existent. And that did not create a sustained hold. It's like the price was rising, but no one was really buying the Bitcoin. So it questions why the price was really rising. So and look, BlackRock didn't buy anything yesterday at all. So without massive ETF buying, I do get concerned over how sustainable are these all-time highs that are happening right now. Now, everything could always reverse. We could, the buying could come back tomorrow. Also, this has to have something to do with the stock market dropping. I just don't see how Bitcoin can crash that much without the stock market dropping. The stock market dropped a little, hasn't dropped all that much. So we'll get back to that later. I really want to talk about the daily chart. There were two things that I said on the daily chart I wanted to see. I wanted to see a noticeably higher closing high, and we got that. We got our high above 122. We even got the closing above 123. And we did break 124. I drew this purple line and I said, hey, I want the intra candle to go above 124. And I want the close, I believe I said 122, above 122, and 123 is certainly above 122. And you see the power of the MRI. I even drew these arrows yesterday. I haven't touched anything, okay? And the lower level time frames are even cleaner than the daily. This is exactly what I expected. What I did not expect was a $7,000 Bitcoin drop in 8 hours, right? That I did not expect. I did expect us to top right here, closing above 122, swing high above 124. That creates the perfect blow off top on the daily candle. And now we have the pullback. Honestly, I didn't expect this pullback to go below 120. We went below 120, so we're going to talk about what that means in a bit. But right now, the way I'm looking at it is, this is a 1 to 4 candle correction. Clearly, this is the first candle of a correction in a 1 to 4 candle correction. Now, a 1 to 4 candle correction can actually go all the way down to $80,000, right? If we crash fast enough. It's possible that tomorrow we go all the way to 106. That's going to alter a lot of longer term plays, right? But from a time perspective, we are dealing with a 1 to 4 candle correction. And then, as of yesterday, I was expecting upside after that, but I was also only expecting us to fall to 120. I didn't think we're going to fall this much. Didn't see that coming. Doesn't mean that it's necessarily bad. We do need to see how the day closes. I'm going to talk about that after. Let's talk about the present situation. Here's the 4-hour chart. As you guys know, I like the 1-hour chart, not the 4-hour chart. These arrows on a 4-hour chart make no sense at all, even though they perfectly did call the top. We had a reversal candle on last night's candle at 2000 hours. That's 8 p.m. Eastern time. It was an extension C candle with a reversal candle, and down we go. Now right now on the 4-hour chart, things look very ugly. We do have support at 117.5, which we pretty much touched. And we also have, we're going to get Matt's green diamond inside the green wave, which last time worked amazingly well. 1 second. Okay. Which last time worked amazingly well. So let's see if that can happen again. Looking at some of the oscillators, I don't like the CMF. That is a bad sign. The RSI hopefully will take us into oversold territory. The MACD has crossed over. So the 4-hour chart, basically we can put a fork in the 4-hour chart. It looks terrible. You also have the green star, the red star candle. It's bad. The 4-hour chart's bad. Let's go to a 1-hour chart. The 1-hour chart is also bad at the moment, but we'll get to that. The Bitcoin price topped on a 1-hour MRI top. It was a second consecutive MRI top. You see how the first MRI top took place in consolidation. I'm going to raise this line a smidge. I'm going to get rid of that little line. I'm not sure what that was there for. I'm just going to raise this up to here just to make it cleaner so I can talk about it. So I expected us to reach the MRI top, get rejected by the MRI resistance line. Because keep in mind, we were doing this show yesterday. I was doing the show yesterday on this red candle right here. That is the 10 a.m. candle. The show took place at 10 a.m. yesterday. I was a little disappointed we didn't make the perfect top over here, but we came close. I really wanted us to get to like 122 and a half, and I wanted us to get there on the MRI top candle, but that's okay. Instead, what happened was we had this more of a consolidated top, and then we continued higher, and we created a perfect green star candle right above the prior swing highs, closing highs on the 1 hour candle, and then went for it and reached that perfect daily top. Absolutely textbook perfect. Everything I teach, this was a perfect top to take your profit, to get out. Of course, this happened in the middle of the night, but in general, Bitcoin does trade 24/7. Perfect opportunity to get out right there at 124, just like I said yesterday. Go back to yesterday's videos. There was no. I only had one analysis yesterday. That was it. Perfect MRI top, reversal-ish candle. Let's see what the tone-based volume did. The tone-based volume was still green. Barely green. It was almost in the red because I can tell by the candle. Once we got this red star candle at 1 o'clock in the morning, I was fast asleep. I've been going to bed early. I'm trying to, wait till you guys see my health and wellness videos later this year. Right here, this is where you know the pullback is on. Starting at just when we go back below 123, this red star candle on the daily, you know the pullback is on. Now, with this pullback, I'm expecting, okay, realistic scenario 120. And that would be right here, right at this MRI support line. And you know what? If I was awake at 8 in the morning, I was awake at 8 in the morning, but I wasn't paying attention to the market. I was awake at 8 in the morning, but I wasn't paying attention. I got to be honest with you guys. I would have been a big buyer right here, right here, right at the top. Like, I don't trade at 8 a.m. like ever, right? Not on a weekday. But if this wasn't 8 a.m., if this was right now, if Bitcoin was bouncing off of the hourly MRI support line with a doji candle right here into an hourly MRI buy, I'm buying Bitcoin right here at 121. And then I'm getting my stop loss hit. Probably I would have given it some wiggle room. My stop loss would have got hit below 120. So I am, that's what I would have done. Okay. I would have expected the floor to be 120. I did not expect this at 8 a.m. So there had to be some economic news at 8 a.m. Something happened at 8 a.m. Let me go to FinWiz. I just want to see what economic indicators we had this morning. So this morning, what do we got? Where's the economics of it? Okay, the PPI. Well, good job, Donald Trump, on the tariffs. So PPI is the producer price index. Wow, that is bad. Shit. Fuck. Well, it was fun while it lasted. God damn. How does this happen? So, I think this is hilarious. I mean, it's terrible. I mean, look, Bitcoin just crashed $9,000. But do you guys understand what this means? I mean, you do realize Trump literally just fired the chief of Bureau of Labor and Statistics because, again, it feels like we're living under let me not say the word, the D word here. I have been so critical of Trump and the tariffs. So the PPI is the producer price index. It is like the CPI, but it's for the producers, not for the consumers. So CPI is the consumer price index. PPI is the producer price index. So what this means is that, the producers, the corporations, their inflation skyrocketed because they now have to pay a fucking tariff for their goods. And this has not yet been reflected onto the consumer. But guess what's going to happen next? Holy fuck. So here's why it is not affecting the stock market as much. The reason why it's not affecting the stock market is because the stock market investors understand that corporations are not going to go out of business to protect the consumer from paying more money for their goods and services. So sooner or later, the corporations are going to jack up the prices, and all those tariff costs that the companies had to put in, they're going to be reflected onto the consumer. Yes, there is a flow through from PPI to CPI. Correct. Okay. Now, keep in mind, high inflation is not bad for the stock market. And here's the reason. And I've said this reason on many, many occasions, and people still don't understand. High inflation is not going to cause a crash in the stock market. Just like devaluation of the dollar is not going to cause a crash in the stock market. When the value of the dollar goes down, the stock market can go up, right? If the dollar is devaluing, then things priced in dollars go up. If the dollar goes down in price, the price of gold goes up. So does the price of the S&P 500, okay? When inflation goes up, Apple raises the price of the cell phone. And therefore, they're making more money selling a higher price cell phone. So why wouldn't Apple price of their stock go up, right? They also, they could not give raises to their employees. They don't have to do that, but they could do that, right? So, for example, if Apple raises the price of the cell phone to make up for the tariffs or inflation or the extra cost of goods in making the cell phone, right? Apple raises the price of the cell phone. Apple, the corporation, makes more money by selling a higher priced iPhone. Everyone is still going to wait in line to buy the next iPhone, even though they're just going to move the speaker hole, an inch to the left, and everyone is going to run out and buy a new $2,000 iPhone, right? Like everyone went out. I mean, I actually would have waited in line to buy the new iPhone with the USB-C charger because that shit was just retarded for the last 18 years. But anyway, so the price of Apple phone goes up. Everyone still buys the Apple phone, and Apple stock price goes up. Now, if Apple, the company, decides to give every one of their employees a raise, that may actually drop the price of Apple stock because now they're spending more money instead of investing that money in research and development and whatever else they might invest that money. They might buy their own stock back, raising the price of the stock, right? So Apple, the company, has a shit ton of money. And the more money they have, the more confident investors are in Apple's stock, and Apple's stock price goes up. But if Apple decides to use all their extra money and give bonuses to their employees and give raises to the employees, the price of Apple stock is going to go down, okay? Because then investors are going to say, well, Apple has no extra money, so we don't know what they're going to do with that extra money to increase the value of the company, okay? So if Apple raises the price of the cell phone because they have to pay a tariff on the components of the cell phone from China and pay that to the government, they're raising the price of the cell phone. Prices go up. Okay. Now, why did Bitcoin crash this morning this much? I don't really have a good explanation other than everyone should have the MRI indicator, and you would have been well prepared for this. But in any case, this is bad. This is really, really, really bad. It looks like another chief of Bureau of Labor Statistics is about to get fired. And Trump literally fired the chief of the statistics because he didn't like the statistics. We are living in a real clown show right now. It's bad. I am going to do a political stream later today, but it's going to be on Russia-Ukraine because of the Putin-Trump meeting. But then I will do a whole thing on Trump and what a disaster we're dealing with. But hey, the stock market's going up, so I can't complain too much. Bitcoin hit all-time high yesterday. I can't complain too much, right? I'm not complaining about the asset prices. I'm just not happy with the political side of things. Okay. Okay, so there was an announcement that the federal government's not going to be buying Bitcoin. That's what it sounds like. That's okay. I really couldn't care less that the U.S. government is not buying Bitcoin. Let's hope the low is in. Let's go back to the low level time frame and let's analyze. Yeah, so it looks like that caused a big drop. Let's look at the 10 a.m. reversal. Good point. 10 a.m. reversal would have been right around here. I'm still skeptical on this. I want to see a 5-minute close above one. I want to see us get back above 119. If we get back above 119, I think we're okay. The federal government not buying Bitcoin is not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. So that 0.09 may not have anything to do with the Bitcoin crash because, again, Bitcoin doesn't have to deal with sanctions. But I just think this is nuts. Like, I just saw that, and also look how wrong the federal government, the expectation was, not the government, but look how wrong the analysts were. And look at the prior one; it was 0, right? So there wasn't any. It's man, this is nuts. I want to see how this resolves. I want to see how this flows through the economy. Shit. Oh, IBIT Max Pain. Interesting. Yeah, let's take a look. I wish I saw where it was yesterday. We're right at Max Pain. Oh, no, we're not. We're above Max Pain. Okay, so we got a little downside to go. There's some downside left. Current price of IBIT is 67 and Max Pain 64. So, yeah, we got some downside. We were way higher. Where was IBIT? I want to see IBIT's all-time high. Let me see. So IBIT's all-time high was yesterday at the close. It was almost at 70. It was almost 70. That's actually kind of cool. It was almost 70. And today it just crashed big. Yeah. Almost 70. Yeah, that would have been crazy. Today is Thursday. Yeah, we can pull back a little bit more. How does the rest of the time look for us here? Okay, so September, Max Pain is all the way at 69. Interesting. That's a great sign. That's a great sign. The monthly is, of course, way more important than the weekly. And look at the next monthly is at 60. That's a big drop down. Big drop down. Look, 66 and then 61. Well, this is going to adjust big. This is going to adjust higher. I can guarantee you that. This will probably stay around the same. All right, let's get back to the price action here. Oh, nice. There we go. Here we go. I really wish the low was in. That was a bit of a panic, I guess, on the announcement. A lot of longs got, wiped out. Some people probably shorted the shit out of Bitcoin, and they're gonna pay for that. Look, everything is gonna be great if we go back and we close above 120. If today's close is above 120, then it's as if we pulled back to 120 and the correction may be done. The correction may be done. I would love to reset the MRI count. I want to see us at a red 1. I want to see a new green star candle come in. Ideally, around 123. And then reach my target of 142. Along with well, it's probably not going to happen on this weekly MRI buy, but we'll get another weekly one going. Okay, I think I yapped long enough. Not much to say on the cycles. How did shitcoins do today? How did Ethereum do today? So Ethereum is actually up today versus Bitcoin. Ethereum is going to top out late at the end of this month. I'm expecting Ethereum to top out, and I'm expecting us to do a reversal. What is XRD? Nah, some scam. Last thing I want to do is look at a new shitcoin I haven't heard of. I was hoping it was a stock. 10 a.m. reversal is working out. What about the stock market? How's the stock market dealing with it? 10 a.m.? Look at the stock market. Stock market is heading to a new high. Beautiful. So Bitcoin should be okay. Bitcoin should be okay. Who am I going to vote for in 2028? I don't know who's running in 2028. I mean, I'd love to vote for Thomas Massie in 2028. Thomas Massie, maybe Rand Paul. There's not a lot of options, guys. Not a lot of options. I'd vote for Elon Musk. I don't have a problem with Elon Musk. Mark Wood, yes, need to. JD Vance? I don't know. Depends. Let's see how he does. Let's see. Let's see. So far, I'm not sure Vance has, proved himself that he's worthy, but we'll see. He certainly hasn't stopped Trump and doing anything stupid. All right, that's it. I don't really have anything else. What was that stock where we're keeping an eye on? BTI? BTI, right? BTI. British American Tobacco. Yeah, hang it in there. We'll keep an eye on that. All right, I'm going to try and... I'm going to have to do work before doing a stream on Russia, Ukraine, and Trump's meeting with Putin. I do want to do one today because they're meeting tomorrow. So keep an eye on my personal channel. I'll get that going a little bit later. All right, guys, that is it for me. Thank you all for watching. Just want to come here and, toot my own horn about perfectly calling the top yesterday. And hopefully it's over. Hopefully the low is in. This was our one big day crash, and we'll be back to the upside soon. But this could be it for on the weekly. Like right now, we're back into consolidation land, and we will see what happens next. All right, bye, guys. 50-50 on a show tomorrow. Depends if there's anything interesting. If the price of Bitcoin is sitting around between 120 and 122, it's not interesting, and probably no show. If we continue to fall, I'll do a show, and if we're like above 123, I'll do a show. Otherwise, it doesn't really make sense unless I have something important to say. All right, thank you all for watching. I'm keeping an eye on your live chat. I don't see anything crazy here, and see you all on the next one. Bye, guys. Got my head shaved yesterday. I feel so much better.